Dun, 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 dun. Hey everyone, welcome to Mr. Teach Film Preach, and if you're a film lover like I am, and you're a lover of the Indiana Jones series like I am, then you are in the right place. Comment, let me know, what did you think of this Indiana Jones film, and what is your ranking of the franchise? And also, while you're down there, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe. We're trying to hit 200 subscribers on this channel by the end of this year, and you can help doing that by clicking that button. Thanks so much. Today we're doing the highly anticipated, much beloved film franchise, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Indiana Jones, the famed archaeologist adventurer, is approaching retirement. But as his goddaughter and an old, all too familiar evil returns, Indy must stop an ancient and powerful world-changing artifact from falling into the wrong hands.
Dad told me you found something on a train during the war. A dial that could change the course of history.
I have to start out by saying Indiana Jones, as a character, is my favorite action hero character of all time. Like, if you were to say, what are your favorite film franchises? Indiana Jones is at the top of that list. You're to say who is like your favorite movie character, Indiana Jones may be in the top 5 characters for me. I just love this character. I love history. I'm a historian, not an archaeologist.
Well, duh.
I love Harrison Ford, Steven Spielberg, and the films that they've created together. So of course I was anticipating the hell out of this film. And it was not bad.
Not bad.
First of all, the fact that they got James Mangold to take over the realms of Steven Spielberg, who chose to not direct this film, I thought was a great replacement. I'm a big James Mangold fan. I love his movies like Walk the Line, Ford versus Ferrari, and Logan. He's a great director. He has his hands in like all these different genres, so I knew that he would be a good and a safe choice no matter what for this film. So it does change the tone a little bit of this movie, not too much, and James Mangold did a good job of creating a continuality of that Indiana Jones feel, and it's there in the film, but of course the tone's a little bit different because it is a different artist after all. We know he will craft a great story because he is a great visual storyteller, but also really cares about character and characterization and likes to focus on the turmoils of characters. And that's why I think his movies in the past, they're really great character studies first, and then everything else comes along with it. I love having Harrison Ford back as Indiana Jones. Oh, I'm just so happy. Hercules, 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 Hercules. I grew up on the Indiana Jones trilogy box set, VHS box set, and I probably wore the tapes out of those. And then recently, before going to see Dial of Destiny, I rewatched the first 4 Indiana Jones films to get me prepared for this. It was amazing to have Harrison Ford back on screen doing his thing, having this like old man return to like all these roles he's done in the past, like Star Wars with Han Solo, Blade Runner 2049, and of course Harrison Ford does a great job. This might be his best emotional and vulnerable performance as Indiana Jones, just because of where he's at in his life and the story. You know, Indy at this point is like 70 years old. He's reaching retirement. It's a really sad and vulnerable place that you find Indy in. Some things have happened to him. Life has happened to him, not just from the adventures, but like his own family, marriage with Marion, his son, and all of that is addressed in this film. And there's some things that I thought were really great about it, and some things maybe not so much, but you really get to see a different Indy and a different part of his life. And in some ways, I really like that characterization. We get to see this. It's almost like this film is what Logan was for Wolverine. It's his swan song. It's his last sort of hurrah. So this is a really nice send-off for Harrison Ford. Phoebe Waller-Bridge did a fairly good job with this film. I thought herself as an actor did a good job, but the character, how it was written, she's kind of an asshole. I mean, and so is Indiana Jones at times, but you like Indy. He's trying to always do the right thing, even if sometimes he's a little bit messy about it.
Prepare to meet Kali in hell.
In this, she is such a deceptive character, and a character that you immediately don't trust or don't like as you're getting to know more and more about her. And so like the first 2/3 of the movie, always at odds with Indy, but like kind of on his side, and they're just butting heads. but they don't develop the character to be very likable. And so again, Phoebe Waller-Bridge did a good job with her performance, but the material of how they wrote her character, the actions and decisions that she makes in this film, innocent people in the film are killed, and she doesn't care about it. It doesn't affect her, and she's kind of like, yeah, whatever. That's important. Like, when Indy would get rid of bad guys, that's one thing, but if you ever hurt someone innocent or like killed them, you would see Indy have a hard time with that. And her character, it's like, no, if you want her to really sort of take on this father-daughter, mentor-mentee relationship with Indy, we have to care for her somewhat. And Indy cares for her because of his connection with her father and, you know, their close relationships. But for the audience and for us, you need to build that, and it just wasn't built well in this film. Of course, you get the great Mads Mikkelsen in a film. He's probably going to be our villain, and he is. We've seen him do a lot better. Like when he plays Le Chiffre in Casino Royale, he was fantastic. This is not quite at that level, but anytime you have Mads Mikkelsen in a film, automatically you're like, ooh.
He's crazy.
The story itself is like every Indiana Jones, movie. It's an artifact, a MacGuffin film. They're after some sort of thing that can either be used for good or evil in the world, and Indy is representing the good side, and he's got to go against the Nazis. Yes, there are Nazis back in this film.
Nazis. I hate these guys.
So the formula of the Indy films are there for sure. The story has some parts where, yeah, like you could drive a semi-truck through some of those spaces. Parts that didn't need to be in the film. There were some characters that we could have just ignored or not spent as much time with them. CIA sort of subplot line with this agent, and then it's like that sort of sidelined very suddenly and quickly. And so the tone and pacing of the story in the film are a little bit up and down throughout the movie, and it makes it a little bit uneven at times. And the pacing is long. Like, this movie is 2.5 hours long, but all the rest of the Indiana films are like an hour and 50 minutes, maybe just over 2 hours long. 2.5 hours is a long time for an indie film, and you definitely feel the runtime in this movie. Was it anything nearly as bad as Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? No.
That was weird.
But was this film anything as good as like the first three in the trilogy? Absolutely not. It's kind of right in the middle there, which is what I was sort of expecting going into this film. If you go in expecting Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, you might be pleasantly surprised by this. Yes! I felt like the first 2 acts of the film worked really well, and then the third act kind of goes all over the place. If you look at the Indiana films, they're kind of all like that. The third act of the film is really crazy and supernatural, and, insane things go on. And this film definitely suffers from the finale not being as great as it could be. I'm not saying that it's terrible or like, oh, it ruins the film. It was a super entertaining film. It is Indiana Jones. There were some great stunts. There were some fun action scenes. The humor is funny at times. There's actually one of my favorite lines I've ever heard Indy say is in this film.
Why did it have to be snakes?
Now, if you're an Indiana Jones lover, I think no matter what, you're going to have a good time with this film. If you're just like, I want to see an action adventure film, like this will definitely give you that taste for your sweet tooth. Sweet tooth! This is definitely an improvement upon Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This is definitely a better made film. It's a better script. It's got better villains. It's got more interesting things that are happening for the character of Indy. It was so great to see Harrison Ford back in action, kicking ass, punching guys in the face, taking names. Phoebe Waller-Bridge did a great job. The rest of the cast was great in this film. So if I was to give these Indiana Jones rankings, Raiders of the Lost Ark is still number 1. That is one of the best films ever. Second below that is The Last Crusade. Just though, The Last Crusade is like literally right below it. Below that is Temple of Doom. And then below that is Dial of Destiny. And then Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is. Before I give you my final grade, don't forget to click like and subscribe to my channel for more content. Also help me get to that 200 subscriber goal for this channel by the end of this year. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm gonna have to go ahead and give Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny a B. What did you think of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? I would love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. Also, give me your ranking of the Indiana Jones franchise. Thank you so much for checking out Mr. Teach Film Preach. Come back and check out some other videos like Elemental, The Flash, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Come back and check out some other videos, and we'll see you on the next one. Stay focused, stay awesome, and as always, let's get taught.